Goku and Beerus would begin to release a gigantic power, making the whole dimension shake, creating several portals. However, they still didn't have enough power to get out of that place.
Interesting. It seems we're trapped by a high-level divine seal.
Ha ha ha! But that won't be enough to stop us! Our power surpasses all the seals they put on!
That's right. But for now, it's correct that we can't get out. But in a short time, we will.
Goku and Daishenka began to train again, but this time to release a power beyond its limits. Goku, in his mind, would be able to see the transformation of the Super Saiyan Phase 4, for which he needed his tail. However, in his mind, he would hear again the voice of Whis.
Mr. Goku, I know that we would achieve the Super Saiyan Phase 3 combined with the Ultra Instinct now. His new evolution will be the Super Saiyan Phase 4, for which he has already foreseen that he would need his tail.
At that moment, Goku's tail would grow again, not suffering any superficial change.
So by recovering my tail, I'll have much more power. This is great! It's time to start training much harder than before.
Goku and Beerus would begin with one of their last training sessions. That's right, the final battle was about to be decided. Meanwhile, outside the room, Daishenkin was preparing an army to face the King of Everything. His guardians and his counterpart, what this Daishenkin did not foresee, was that his counterpart and the King of Everything of this era, as well as his guardians, were also training.
I'm very close to banish that damn dwarf. I swear that I'll shatter him with all my power.
At that moment, the Vermouth god of Universe 11 would appear in front of Daishenkin.
Vermouth, what can I do for you?
Great Daishenkin-sama. I don't know if it's wise, but why don't we ask for the help of a Super Saiyan warrior with the Super Dragon Balls?
That's a great idea. I have an idea. Since the gods are on our side, we'll go to Universe 10 and use one of the time rings.
Daishenkin and Vermouth would head to Universe 10, arriving quickly, where they were greeted by the Supreme Kaio-sama. Daishenkin would explain everything, asking for a ring of time. The Kaio would not deny it. At that moment, Daishenkin and Vermouth, thanks to a super portal managed to reach a new timeline. They gathered the Super Dragon Balls in a few moments.
Now yes, it's time! Great God Zarma, come out and fulfill my desire.
At that moment, the great god Zarma would appear.
Tell me what is your wish. I can fulfill anything. You as the all-knowing being, I want you to bring to life an extremely powerful warrior. I understand. It is a very easy wish to fulfill. His name is Archon, but he is also known as the Swordsman of Death.
Zarma's eyes at that moment would shine. The whole place where they were began to see in lightning, earthquakes, and in other disasters. That's right, the being he had brought to life was an incredibly powerful being.
This level of strength is amazing. How are you feeling, Vermouth?
Daishenkin realized that the god Vermouth was not able to breathe. He would create a barrier with which he would be able to move again.
Who is it that brought me to life? This is fascinating.
It's us, Archon. We need your help.
But you're Desiku-sama, cursed. Because of you, I was annihilated millions of years ago.
You're wrong. Deku-sama was my father. I'm Daishenkin-sama, his protagonitor.
So Dekuso's son has brought me back to life. This is interesting.
All the Destroyer Gods and I have organized a revelation against Zeno-sama and Daishenkin from another timeline. Will you help us rule everything?
Of course I will. I'll wipe out every divine being that gets in our way, especially the King of Everything.
Daishenkin would say to himself,
that guy that Zarma brought to life seems to have an impressive grudge against Zeno-sama. This is perfect. This way it'll be much more effective.
Daishenkin was about to leave together with Vermouth and Archon, however Archon would tell him something.
I want you to bring my brother to life. He'll be of great help. He's the 007 swordsman.
Understood, but we must go to another timeline, but one question. Why 007?
That's the number of beings he's annihilated. A being that only wiped out 7 subjects. Do you really think he's helpful to us? Simple, God. Wait for your superior to finish speaking.
He has annihilated 7 beings in his entire existence, but the 7 are the kings of the entire fallen multiverse. Daishoken would be very surprised because millions of years ago, a rumor spread through the 12 multiverses, and it said that a guy ended the lives of 7 kings of the whole.
So the rumor was true after all. A being who killed 7 kings of everything, even sacrificed himself to not kill the most powerful king of everything.
So, you know the story. That's right, he's my brother. His name is Kimura, the 007 swordsman.
Of course we'll bring him back to life. Don't worry.
Daishoken of Vermouth and Archon would quickly create a new portal going to a new timeline. When they arrived, they did the same as in the previous one, only this time they revived the 007 swordsman. Nothing had happened, no noise or explosion.
So, after millions of years, they have brought me back to life.
Well, long time no see, brother.
So you remember me. That's good, Kimura.
I wouldn't be such a scum to forget my own brother. But tell me, why did you bring me back to life? Archon began to explain everything that had happened and that they were about to face the king of everything, Zeno-sama, and take over this multiverse. Kimura, very excited, would accept. At that moment, everyone would return to their original timeline. But before we start the great battle, I'll end the lives of the remaining 4 kings of everything. Daishoken was about to say something, but Kimura had already disappeared from that place.
Damn it! If that guy gets in trouble, it'll be a problem, since none of the other kings know that he has come back to life.
Don't worry, priest. Nothing bad'll happen. I can assure you that. Daishoken would stop thinking about what happened, starting to organize all his team. That's right, all the gods were even already immune to Zeno-sama's racing power. Meanwhile, in the time room, Goku and Beerus would be in the terminal phase of their training. That's right, Whis, by granting Goku all the Saiyan knowledge, was able to break all his limits. It's time! By Whis giving me knowledge, I'm sure I won't lose my mind. Goku at that moment would create an artificial moon in his hand, throwing it to the sky, and Goku would begin to observe it. In that same instant, Goku would begin to transform to that gigantic Ozaru. Goku, are you alright? Can you control that state? Of course I am, Mr. Beerus. This gigantic Ozaru will not lose his mind. Goku at that moment would begin to transform into the Super Saiyan Phase 4, but before finishing his transformation, Goku would combine it with his Divine Ki, observing the variants of the Super Saiyan Blue Phase 4 and the Ultra Instinct Phase 4. Both new transformations broke all the laws of the logic of the power, since a simple Saiyan was able to overcome the power of an Angel Supreme level. Mr. Beerus, I'm ready to begin our revenge. I think that's great, Goku, but don't be in a hurry. Control all that power so you don't wear out your energy. You're right, Mr. Beerus. Let's train for a while longer so we'll be able to finish those bastards quickly. Goku and Beerus would begin with their last training, where they both trained their peace of mind and spiritual base. Meanwhile, with Daishoken and Archon, it had already been a week since Kimura had left, but at that moment Kimura would appear in front of everyone.
Did you defeat all the other kings except for Zeno-sama?
That's right, it was too easy. The only problem was the king of the most powerful everything.
Daishoken couldn't believe that the Kimura of the 007 swordsman possessed. However, Daishoken would come out of his astonishment when he'd hear Kimura again.
Tell us, priest, when are we going to finish with this king of the multiverse? I can't wait to do it.
I ask you to be patient, please. Very soon we'll bring down that damned one.
At that moment, all the other destroyer gods would arrive, which had increased their power in an unreal way, being so much that even the power of some of them was compared to the power of their guardian angel.
We're all ready. I don't know what the hell we're waiting for.
You're right, Kimura. Tomorrow we'll give the final blow to the kingdom of everything. So get ready, all of you.
All the gods bowed as a sign of being ready for battle. However, at that moment, a strong tremor would be felt throughout the universes, and an extremely impressive power would be present. That's right, it was the power of Zeno-sama, his guardians, and the great priests.
This can't be! The power of those bastards has increased in an amazing way. I can't believe it!
Well, despite being only 3 warriors, it'll be a very fun battle since their power's not low at all. It's time to attack! I won't let them catch us off guard.
Wait! Don't predict. I know you're very powerful, but we must have a strategy.
On that occasion, Daishaken's right. The most powerful of that king, although he doesn't compare to the power of the most powerful king, I'm sure it could cause you problems.
Gods, create the Super Destroyer.
All the gods would create the Super Destroyer again, however this time the power it gave off was even more powerful than when Beerus joined them.
This power is amazing. I can't believe that all this power is flowing through all my ki veins. Well, we are 4 against 4 since 2 of the Guardians will face my Destroyer and Archon, while Kimura will face Zeno-sama and me with my counterpart. Any doubt?
Nothing to be heard in the whole place.
So, now it's time to attack. Let's go!
At that moment, the 4 beings would increase their power to the maximum, being perceived by the 4 beings of the whole realm.
So Daishaken was right. These guys are ready to finish this off.
At that moment, a portal would open in front of all of them. But that's right, Daishaken had overlooked something since there were 2 Zeno-samas, so there were also 4 Guardians.
Plan B. Time to finish them off with a big wave of energy.
All would create a giant sphere of energy of massive destruction, being received by a wave of energy by the beings of the Kingdom of Everything. After a few minutes, their attacks colliding, a great explosion would be created. Daishaken and Zeno-sama would be surprised to observe another Daishaken. However, they would not say anything, and at that moment, a great battle would begin, in which all in a matter of a few moments that the battle had begun, 2 of the Guardians had fallen into the hands of Kimura, while Daishaken, of an attack of energy, had left the Destroyer on the verge of death. In that moment, Kimura would be in front of Zeno-sama, and both would observe each other fixedly.
I'll not let you destroy my universe. I swear we'll finish you in that evil version of Daishaken.
I will finish you. You don't deserve that power. The king of everything should not be a simple child. I'll fight to the end with you, evil part. Let's see who dies first.
What will happen next? Find out in the next chapter. Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.